Hi, this is Cam Coley with Charlotte Water. Today we are going to do a online public meeting to talk about Upper Taggart Creek Wastewater Project. And we will go through what to expect with construction, review the alignment, and also have an opportunity for people to chat with the project manager. Let's see here. First, we'll talk about our goal. The goal is to install a new wastewater pipe. This will help provide service for current, future wastewater needs for the airport, the neighborhoods in the Taggart Creek Basin. As you can see here, we start south of Morrisfield Drive, follow along the side of Taggart Creek, tunneling under major roads, and then ending at Westerly Hills Park. And to get a better view of this, we zoom in here. As you see here, we're starting close to the CPCC campus at Morrisfield. In the woods here, the dotted line is a rough estimate of what the construction easement is along the way for the pipe project. There'll be more detailed easement information for property owners. The main roads like Morrisfield, we will tunnel under, and we'll go into a few slides later on what to expect with tunneling. Crews will work their way up along Airport Center Parkway, still again following the Upper Taggart Creek and tunneling under the railroad. We will also be digging right here at Golf Acres Drive, and our project manager, Mac McClanahan, is on as well, and if you would like, he can talk a little bit about what to expect with Golf Acres Drive. Hey, Mac, are you there? I'm not hearing you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Yeah, so as far as Golf Acres Drive is concerned, we will be open cutting that road, but we cannot close access to that road to those businesses back there near the cul-de-sac. So what our plan to do is to keep or do half of the road open cut, fill it back in, cover it back up so you people can drive over, and then do the other half, and then proceed on towards the tunnel.
Okay, and then same with other tunnels. Tunneling under a railroad will be there for quite a while to do that work. So you'll see a lot of construction activity on both ends of the tunnel there.
Yeah, the tunnel is estimated to take somewhere in the ballpark of 3 months to get through.
And another tunnel we'll have is under Wilkinson. So same thing, you'll see us there for several months to get that work done. Come around the bend here with the creek. And here at Denver and Allegheny, you'll see some major construction as we do this. And Matt can talk a little bit about the details there, that we'll probably have that closed for at least a month for open cutting or trenching that area.
That's accurate, Cam. Thank you.
And then the project will work its way up behind Carlisle and end at Westerly Hills Park. So this is going to be a long project, certainly a lot of pipe that will have to be laid. So we will be continuing several updates throughout this project to let people know what to expect and when things may change, especially the work at Denver Avenue and Allegheny when we have those traffic impacts. So first we'll talk a little bit about what to expect. One of the first things that happens once we design a project like this is we have to negotiate easements. That's an agreement between us and the property owner so that we have the right to access, maintain, clear, renovate, replace the pipe itself. This illustration shows that the green line is the wastewater pipe going through the tree line here, circle the manhole, and then our easements may vary, but this one shows a 30-foot wide example, which would be enough for some construction. Some easements may be a lot wider if it's a large project like this. And then this illustration also shows that where possible, or if feasible, we may put it in a street. In this case, we're going along the creek line. to provide a larger pipe to serve the neighborhood. Once we begin construction, you'll see pretty soon, either in this month, late May or early June, you may see people staking or surveying, putting fencing along the easement corridor. That then allows for our clearing contractor to come. The clearing contractor may use a heavy equipment like you see here on the right, and that will then clear a path for the contractor to come and do the digging, all the pipe that he needs to have stored on site, and do the work we need to get done. Once we're done, we will restore that area to grass, and where possible, we will preserve trees. But as you can imagine, if we've got to dig deep down to install a new sewer line, there's not a whole lot we can do with trees just above that. But we will try to preserve them, especially in temporary construction easements, if that's possible. After we've cleared the area, we will start delivering the pipe, the equipment, soil, materials, manholes, anything that we need to conduct the project. This is a quick view of what to expect for a project like this. You could see a lot of pipe being delivered, strung or laid beside on the construction easement itself or on the road right-of-way. Same with manhole pieces. So a project like this is large, so large pipes, large manholes will be part of that. We'll definitely see some large trucks bringing equipment and material onto the location. We will have sediment, soil erosion, some fencing or silt fencing around to protect the creek, protect the construction area. There may be some security fencing around the construction zone. There may not be in this case, but this photo to the right gives you a sense of how big the construction zone may be when a crew is working. And once the crews are set up, they may conduct some drilling or subsurface investigations where they're drilling down to see what kind of rock conditions are in the way of the pipe installation. So you could see a drill rig like that. And we've already mailed out the letters to customers that are within 500 feet of the new wastewater pipe alignment. This is a pre-construction survey where, because we are going to assume that there's the potential of some rock formations in the way, that we may need to do some blasting. The pre-construction survey is a way for customers to get a sense of what their building, cracks and all, may have before we do any blasting. And we seriously consider, encourage people to consider that. This is just a standard procedure for any kind of removal of rock for a project like this. We will have a seismograph monitor all the vibrations from these blasts if they are needed. You will definitely have a couple of opportunities here to respond to us, and then those surveys, when we're done, we have available a post-construction survey. So if you notice cracks in a building after construction that are different than the before the construction survey, then we can look into that. A key part there is that the City of Charlotte is offering that. It is free to the property owner to use. We have a third party do the survey, and the City of Charlotte pays for it. It isn't a claim. If you file a claim, it isn't a claim against the City of Charlotte. It's a claim towards the contractor or the sub, but the City of Charlotte will help facilitate that by having that vendor, the third-party vendor that does the pre-construction survey, compare the pre-construction and post-construction survey of the building to assess what if there is something there or not. To go a little bit more into detail on blasting, after customers have done pre-construction surveys, If we find rock formation that's in the way, this is an example of or illustration of a rock formation here. We would put dynamite, drill it down into the rock, pack it with dirt, put a heavy mat over it to cover the blast, and seismograph to monitor vibrations. Once we have broken that rock, and of course it will look something similar to this, where there may be a noticeable vibration. You may feel a rumble or something similar to thunder or a slammed door. It may be a little surprising the first time, but after that, if we find a lot of rock, you may notice it. That we will do it late morning, late afternoon on a consistent basis to get through a rock formation. The photo on the right is a example of the heavy mats that are put down on top of the packed dirt to help keep the vibration and the stuff from coming up too much. This isn't like a Hollywood blast that you may see in films or something. This is kind of a very small thing, but we like to warn customers in advance of what they should expect before experiencing it.
Yeah,
hear a loud horn before the blast. Go ahead, Mac.
Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, one point on that, if your property is located near the Mooresfield Drive or the railroad where the Golf Acres kind of is, the tunnels do seem to produce a little bit louder of a noise just because there's no dirt on top of the tunnels, obviously to control the sound. So if you're in that area, don't feel alarmed if it's a little bit louder. And one more point that I forgot to mention on the last slide on the pre-blast surveys. Right now, during the whole COVID-19 pandemic, we've been kind of taking an alternate approach to how we do these. Typically, we would come inside your house and do an external survey. Right now, we are just doing just an external, and our third-party vendor that Cam mentioned, Vibratech, they will be reaching out to you to teach you how to perform that internal survey so that you can prove your claim in the future if you have any damage. Thanks, Cam.
Great. And then that opens us up to the next slide here about tunneling. For those large roads, we won't be digging up the road, causing traffic delays. We will tunnel under them from one side to the other. The photo to the left here is a sense of how deep that is, how big of an area that is, that we have to dig just to have what's called an entry pit to dig. The illustration here shows all the things that are necessary to have an entry pit and to tunnel under a major street, all the other utilities and conflicts that we may run into. And then on the other side, we'll have an exit pit where a similar size area we'll need to have for that. And in these cases, it would definitely be several weeks, several months in some of the larger ones where you will see crews working from an entry pit. And then eventually when they get far enough through underneath the street, they'll create the exit pit and get ready on that side to finish the project under the street, that is. A key part here is just that if you see us in beside a street, it's just a lot of work, a lot of logistics, and a lot of activity along the street that is required so we can keep that road open. So the tunnels are definitely going to take us a long time. We're there. When we're not tunneling, we are doing excavation or trenching. That's where you see in this photo, the left, 2 excavators or track hoes working. One may be digging, the other is putting the pipe in. The next one may be restoring and digging up the next spot. So a lot of activity. The illustration here, just to give a sense of how deep they may be. The pipe size may vary, especially on a project this large that is so long. There will be different size pipes. But the reason we need such a large easement is to accommodate the excavator, a trench box, multiple excavators, dump trucks, soil, pilings on the side, equipment, pipes, etc. So hopefully this helps get an idea of how big this project will be when you see it in the woods or the backyard. And then when we're done, we will restore the area to grass. Manholes are typically flush with the grass if it's a maintained yard. If it's an area like a floodplain, then we may have something similar to the bottom two photos where you have a vent, you have a raised manhole, or something else. But if you have a question about what kind of manhole would be in your backyard and you're on the alignment, feel free to reach out to us and we can talk about that. Our schedule for now, this may change a little bit, but mid-May through June, you're going to see the whole easement area cleared. You'll see some tunneling activity at Morsefield Drive. We have sent the letter out to property owners about the pre-construction survey. We encourage you to fill that out, reach out to Vibratech through that letter. You can email your consent or mail it to them. And they will schedule those appointments with property owners if you're within a 500-foot buffer and receive that letter from them. The next phase, kind of the summer window, June to September, you'll see some pipe installation south of Morsefield Drive, and we're expecting that the Denver Allegheny area might see some activity as well. Again, once we know for certain when that will be and any traffic impacts, we will be communicating that out through Nextdoor, through mailers, and through other things, possibly even putting things, notices on doors.
Yeah, and one more point on the schedule. It's the whole project is only supposed to last roughly 20 months is the duration. I know that's a long time, but it's a lot of pipe. We have roughly 12,000 feet of pipe to put in, so it takes time. So we're shooting for the first quarter of 2022 to be finished.
And, as far as updates, we'll continue to mail updates at least every 3 months to customers in the area. You can receive email updates as well, or make sure you're on the list by emailing me at ccoley@charlottenc.gov. Please add in the subject line Upper Taggart email list. We also will be posting updates frequently on the website. If you go to charlottewater.org like you did today to see this recording, then from that web page there'll be updates posted on the top of that page. And we will be posting a lot on Nextdoor, email. Feel free to email us if you have any questions. The contacts for this project, the day-to-day contact is Bruce Twyman, who is the construction inspector. Project manager is Mac McClanahan. And if you have questions or want to receive more updates, you can email me as well, and I'll handle the communication side. And so if you ever have any questions, feel free to email one or all of us, and we'll be happy to get back to you. I don't believe we have someone on right now, but if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question now or use the chat button. Thank you very much for participating. Participants.
I think I see one person on.
Yep.
Yep, he dropped off. So.
Well, we thank you for participating in this public meeting recording, and we'll put this on the website for people to use in the future. And if you have any questions, email us.